Hello again, and welcome back to the composition blog. It's been a whole month basically since I last filmed, and I'm very ashamed. And I've done very, very little in that time. Yeah, to start with, I was getting over the horrible germ, which took ages, and then we had a major birthday in the family, not mine, which has entailed much celebrating and trekking about the countryside and a house guest, etc. and so forth. And I have been doing some things. The track for the Bastard Assignments album is now signed off, mastered, and the whole album is ready to go. So we're just sort of working out what we're doing with that, and hopefully it'll be out in a few months. I've been working on my tax, I've been doing some web dev work on my own site and other people's. I'm mostly just trying to get back into some sort of routine. I found after all the chaos that my own brain would interrupt me when there weren't interruptions, and it would I'd be sort of calmly trying to read, and it would jump up and down saying, there's got to be something more important you should be doing. And so it's been really hard to just get focus back. But I'm doing quite well now. I've sort of managed to re-establish my morning reading routine, which I think has really helped. And I'm slowly sort of starting to re-establish getting back into other things like, composing. Yeah. So I've not done nothing, which is good. I haven't done things that I intended to do. So, for example, the Quiet Song score, I haven't even touched, mostly because I've been waiting to get the video from Snape, because I realised that it's going to be a lot easier to get a little bit of distance and work from the video and think about, okay, well, why did I come in there and not earlier? That kind of thing, if I can just sort of watch, stop, start, go back, rather than trying to play through it or working from my sort of temp versions. It's just going to be easier to see and note the relationships. So hopefully we'll get that soon. Britain Variations, I'm mostly kind of regrouping on reviewing what I've got and just trying to, get back to actual practical work. I think there's some very hands-on stuff to be done there. And I do have a deadline now, which is nice, because I've got a workshop with Amy in the middle of August, so I need to have something solid for her by then. So yeah, mostly it's just been trying to get back into a routine. And one thing I noticed doing inventory of behaviours a few weeks ago was sort of the large number of behaviours contributed by artists that are actually play, and playing with materials and just being in the space and tinkering about with stuff. And I thought, well, maybe the way to get back into work is actually to play. And I've been looking at Whitespace and going back over some of the versions of that for some writing I'm doing, and I remembered these last versions that I'd completely forgotten about, that I was going around the studio, following the score, but making sounds with the objects in the studio when I got there. And I remembered that there were quite a few of those sounds that are actually really nice, and which I completely neglected to do anything with. So I've kind of gone back to that, and I wanted to make kind of a series of fixed media pieces, which were supposed to be quite quick, except that this first one's taken a whole month. Just really kind of to explore the objects that are in my studio and the sounds they make. So what I've started with is my Anglepoise lamp, which I love dearly, and many years ago I wrote a foolish blog post about how awesome it is. Yes, which was kind of nuts. So for Whitespace I was mostly playing with the springs, but for this I used the whole lamp and sort of tried to really find what sort of sounds it makes and how does it differ, say if I stroke the lampshade versus stroking the bass, that kind of thing. So I made a bunch of recordings with my handheld Tascam recorder, and I took them into Logic, and there I was reminded yet again that the sounds from that recorder are unusable. It didn't matter how much EQ I put on them, it's just appalling, really, really horrific. And so I said a few rude words and went on the internet and finally bought myself a Zoom H4n, which I'm delighted with. It's fantastic. And then I redid all those improvisations on the Zoom, and yeah, they're great. They're so good. So yeah, so once I pulled them into Logic and sort of listening back to all these sounds, and I decided that, I mean, while it is kind of an electroacoustic composition, I didn't want that to be the main thing about it. I wanted it to be principally an exploration of the objects. And so I made a decision to not use any time stretching, reversing of sounds, you know, nothing unnatural. Everything is pretty much straight out of the recorder. I have done little bits of EQ, panning, reverb, compression, just to sort of tie it all together. And there's quite a lot of layering of sounds as well. But they're all the sounds that the lamp makes, basically. I just wanted to keep it really simple and straightforward. It's a bit rough, but I'm quite pleased with it nevertheless. I mean, well, I mean, I know I use this phrase a lot in conjunction with my work. It really is a little bit of nothing at all, but that can be very pleasing in its own way. It's nice to sort of come back from the kind of grand gestures and questioning of identity that was Quiet Songs, and you know, sort of so many aspects to that. It's a really quite a dense piece, and I've still got to kind of unpack what's in it, and just do something that's kind of so simple, so banal. Yeah, it's something I've actually really, really missed, and I think I need to do more of. So yeah, I'm planning on this afternoon doing the next round of recordings, and that might be books, or it might be shuffling papers, or it might be a heater. I'm not sure yet. Yeah. I'll see what takes my fancy when I finish this. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to work on next, and try and get back to the Britain variations and really, yeah, make some progress on that. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, if you've got any comments or questions, please leave them below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, bye.